Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone, who are teaching the truth and sincerity, and a shout out to Yakim and Yakwat that tune in and listening. Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Rakakadash, Brakatam. So, yeah, a lot more wag the dog scenarios. As you know, Gomer and all his bands is in both Syria and Libya, and you got Magog out there being a guard onto all of these countries, to fight against the West. And then you got the U.S. bombing both Somalia, Iraq, and Syria, and it's just all-out war. And who is it for? The Zionist entity, those fake Jews, which you can't say that, but... fucking Amalekites, them fucking gutter rats, who are wagging the dog and faking news stories to make us look like terrorists when they're the goddamn Mossad terrorists themselves. So anyway, Gomer and all his bands still wreaking havoc in Syria and Libya. And hopefully y'all can hear this.
The Turkish army has shelled Syrian army positions near the town of Bir Isa in northern Raqqa. Local Kurdish sources claimed that several Syrian soldiers were injured and 3 vehicles were destroyed in the incident that took place on December 29th. On the same day, sources close to the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces, SDF, reported that the SDF had destroyed a Turkish military vehicle and killed 3 persons abroad in the same area. Despite these developments, the situation in the area remained relatively calm, thanks to the ceasefire regime agreed upon by Ankara and Moscow. However, if such incidents continue to occur, northeastern Syria will once again become a hot point of conflict. According to the Russian side, one of the destabilizing factors is the U.S. support of Kurdish separatism on the eastern bank of the Euphrates River. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov addressed the issue on December 30th, following talks with his Iranian counterpart, Mohammad Javad Zarif. In southeastern Idlib, the Syrian army secured the town of Al-Halba after a series of clashes with Hayat Tahrir al-Sham and its allies. After a series of setbacks in the battle against government forces, Idlib militant groups are now regrouping and resupplying their forces. The army is also not conducting large offensive actions.
But not only do you have that story, you also got more Mossad agents, aka agent provocateurs, in Baghdad as well, and pretty much trying to, overthrow governments because they want a regime change in Iraq, as you can tell here, because we know that these are all Mossad operations.
Protesters are attempting to storm the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad, Iraq.
Another wag the dog.
Let's go right to the AP breaking news update. Iraqi supporters of Iran-backed militia attack U.S. Embassy. Look at this update from the AP right here. Dozens of angry Shiite militia supporters broke into the U.S. Embassy compound in Baghdad.
Yeah, another wag the dog event because they want a war with Iran.
A reception area, prompting tear gas and sounds of gunfire. An Associated Press reporter at the scene saw flames rising from inside the compound and at least 3 U.S. soldiers on the roof of the main building inside the embassy. It was not clear what caused the fire at the reception area near the parking lot of the compound. A man on a loudspeaker urged the mob not to enter the compound, saying the message was delivered. Smoke from tear gas rose in the area, and at least 3 of the protesters appeared to have difficulty breathing. The gate that was smashed was a side entrance, one used by cars to enter the embassy compound. Hundreds of protesters had pushed about 5 meters, 16 feet into a corridor that leads into the main building, but the protesters were still about 200 yards away from it. It wasn't immediately known whether the embassy staff had remained inside the main building. Now, the ambassador and the ambassador's staff have already evacuated. They're not there, but it looks like there's some U.S. soldiers there protecting the embassy. So let's see if we can get some kind of more real-time update on what's going on.
So either way, though, this is another false flag. And I know this report here is a little old, but this is latest Wag the Dog events, of course, because the U.S. is targeting Iraq, Syria, and Somalia, which is the main subject matter for the last few days.
We start overseas, where the United States military is ending 2019 with a series of bombings that could have a major impact on U.S. foreign policy going into 2020. RT's Rachel Blevins joins me now with all the details. Rachel, what do we know about the latest of these airstrikes?
Well, Scotty, the United States has bombed at least 3 countries in the last 24 hours with the claim that it is targeting militant groups in conflict-heavy regions. Now, starting in Somalia, the U.S. confirmed that it carried out 3 airstrikes in 2 locations on Sunday, targeting al-Shabaab militants. In a statement, the U.S. Africa Command said it worked with the federal government of Somalia to kill at least 4 terrorists. The bombing follows a devastating attack in Somalia's capital city of Mogadishu. Around 80 people were killed and nearly 150 injured when a truck filled with bombs exploded on Saturday. The attack happened near one of the city's busiest security checkpoints, and many of the victims are believed to be students who were on their way to school. While al-Shabaab has not immediately claimed responsibility for the attack, the group has been known to carry out similar attacks in the country, with truck bombs killing hundreds of civilians in recent years. The U.S. Africa Command has also ramped up bombing in the country under the Trump administration, and records from April indicate that more than 800 people have been killed by 110 airstrikes in just 2 years, raising questions from Amnesty International about the danger to civilians. Meanwhile, the U.S. also launched airstrikes in Iraq and Syria, killing at least 25 people and injuring 50. They claimed it was in response to a rocket attack that killed an American contractor on an Iraqi military base. Now, the strikes targeted the group Kataib Hezbollah, an Iranian-backed militia based in Iraq. While the U.S. has blamed the militants for several attacks over the last few months, the group referred to the U.S. airstrikes as, quote, the aggression of evil American ravens, and they promised revenge. Both Iraq and Iran strongly condemned the airstrikes, with Iraq calling the attack an aggressive action and violation of Iraqi sovereignty, and Iran arguing it was an example of terrorism. Hundreds of protesters also took to the streets in Baghdad to demonstrate against the attack, where they were seen burning the U.S. and Israeli flags.
And you know that Israeli flag is Amalek. You know, again, Amalek is hated among all. The least the flock join everybody into this war.
Against this particular Iraqi facility and others where their American lives at risk today, what we did was take a decisive response that makes clear what President Trump has said for months and months and months.
Now, Scotty, President Trump has repeatedly said that his goal is to end the endless wars around the world. But the latest spree of airstrikes is raising questions about whether there will be any significant changes to U.S. foreign policy in 2020, even if there is a will for peace in the White House.
Well, Rachel, I find it interesting to see how the rest of the world will respond to these attacks, and if he had checked with other allies before executing this action. Thank you so much for continuing to cover.
And then, of course, you have this going on in Syria as well. A little more of the fighting in the Idlib province. So again, here's the real shootings, but of course they're not going to talk about that. No, they're going to talk about some fake shooting in Texas in a fucking church, which they're nothing but those churches are nothing but fucking whorehouses anyways. But nothing but crisis actors. This is actually fucking really what's going on. But they don't want to talk about that. They want to have the thing glued with these fake ass fucking shootings while the real ones are going on. So anyhow, there's more on this false flag, as you know, that this whole thing is staged for more troop deployment. U.S. sending 750 troops to Middle East after Baghdad embassy siege. You know, and this is coming from the Pentagon, so yeah, man, here it goes again. Another wag the dog scenario. Some 750 paratroopers from the U.S. Army's 82nd Airborne Division are already on their way to Kuwait, and another 3,250 may follow after the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad was stormed and nearly taken by angry Iraqi militiamen. Notice they're saying Iraqi, they didn't say Iran. Interesting. The 82nd Alert Brigade has been ordered to deploy on Tuesday evening. Fuck News reported citing multiple Pentagon officials shortly before Defense Secretary Mark Esper confirmed it. The United Snakes will protect our interests everywhere. They are found around the world, Esper said, announcing their deployment. So either way, man, this war, at least their flock, Amalek joined everybody into it. The United Snakes will protect the terrorists and interests anywhere they are found around the world. So, either way, though, it's coming from the horse's mouth. Which many of these prophecies are speaking, but I wanted to focus mostly on Joel chapter 3 because we see it right before our eyes. I will gather all nations and bring them down into the valley Yehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people, for my heritage Yashala, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And you know that they did this, and they pretty much, just their foundations on this piece of shit in America. And you still got 2/3 of our people fucking celebrating goddamn New Year's, when this is when these goddamn fucking Edomites would fucking trade us. Verse 3. And they have cast lots for my people, and given a boy for a harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they may drink. A lot of this would take place on the so-called New Year. We'd be traded in horrible conditions. Yea, and what have you to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will you render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your head? And that's just it, though. These Edomites don't think that they're ever going to be recompensed. We just told time and time again, just get over it. That was a long time ago. I had nothing to do with that. But look what you're fucking doing in Syria and Iraq and Somalia and around the whole fucking world. You fucking pigs that fucking shoot people for fucking no reason whatsoever except that you're the goddamn devil. And you say that it has nothing to do with the people now, that the people now are innocent. Fuck you, Esau. You're a piece of shit. You were born to be the devil. You serve yourself as the devil. But soon you will serve us. And we can't wait for it. Because you have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Yehoiada and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians, that you might remove them far from their border. And that happened when this piece of shit America was built. So I hope all this has been edifying like everything else, though. Yeah, man, we're seeing the Most High gather all these nations into that valley, and it's right there in the Middle East. That's why you're hearing more wars and rumors of wars. So, it's good to finally see, all this take place. And like everything else, though, man, just don't get caught up in these fucking wicked celebrations. And if you live in a place, man, just do your own thing and just fuck. If you have to go to bed, go to bed. If you can't go to bed, just, man, you ain't with it. You're just doing what you have to do. Fast if you have to, while they fucking celebrate that shit, man. Anyhow, for that, I want to say Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shai, Barak Shem Kadash, Wa Abab Val. Barak Thumb to hopeful elect. Shalom.